My name is Ali. I am an aspiring author and hi, I'm new. So I'm going to do a mashup of the original AuthorTube newbie tag and then the 2.0 and also writers not writing. Just so you can get to know me a little more, and I am sorry about the noise. I don't know if it's going to show up on the final thing, but it's noisy here. So starting off by answering some writing and publishing questions from the tags. What's your book's pitch? My first book that's on submission right now, I'm calling Project Migrant. I would pitch as a coming-of-age story about two girls who meet at a shelter for asylum seekers in the midst of a migration crisis in New York City, and the close relationship they form among the chaos. My second book that I've been working on during my videos that I refer to as Project Rat, I would pitch as an outcast kid's obsession with a fictional universe leads her best friend to investigate if the lines between fiction and reality could be more complicated than they seem. If you were a book, how would you pitch yourself? This is an awesome question, and after thinking about it some, I wrote down a young queer Venezuelan forms a found family after a troubled past while navigating the ups and downs of pursuing immigration and building a creative career. I'm kind of proud of that line, sort of like sums up what I've been going through for the past few years of my life. Although I'm not sure if it stands out as a book a lot of people would like to read, although I do think a lot of people could love a good found family story, so I'm really fortunate that I am basically living one. What do you usually write, / what genres do you write in? I have written and developed story ideas in the genres of fantasy, from like supernatural to paranormal, romance, spicy and non-spicy, science fiction, adventure, horror, mystery, comedy, drama. Pretty much I'm interested in everything, and my next projects that I'm thinking of pursuing are like speculative and horror, so I'm all over the place, and I really enjoy being all over the place. I hope one day I will have published books across many genres, even though I know that people are like, authors should stay to one niche, you know, it's not a great business move to be like crossing all these genres, but I don't know, I can't be boxed in. I need to be able to experiment. What's something you'll never write? Honestly, when it comes to genres, I would never say never, but generally I don't think I would write high fantasy, as it requires a level of world building that I'm not really comfortable doing. It is not really well suited for me. And sort of same for historical, like I just don't think I have the research capacity for that, even though I love reading it and I love the idea of writing it. Similarly, if I were to write science fiction, I feel like it would be very loose with the details, so it's just not my strong suit. Are you a plotter, pantser, or plantser? Absolutely a plotter. I can't really start a story and be confident that I will ever be able to finish it unless I do an outline first from like beginning to end. And usually that outline ends up changing throughout the story, like things get added and things get developed more, especially with the characters, like while I'm working on it. But I do need that starting point. I need to know what I'm working towards. Like I don't know how pantsers do it. I could never, I can't comprehend it. What made you want to start writing / when did you start writing? I've been writing for as long as I can remember. I used to make these like little booklets of stories when I was really little, and I'm sure I was inspired by the books I read, first like the picture books and then chapter books, and I'm sure I was inspired by other media as well, because I remember making like fan fiction of like The Sims and Arthur and stuff. I was also inspired by like my classes and other stories I heard, like when they were teaching us the alphabet, there was like this character for number T, like Miss T, that was just giant tooth or something like that, like a really big smile, and then I ended up writing something sort of like about that, or about like teeth, I think. And I wrote like, what about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln? I did some Christmas themed ones about like snowmen who come alive and Santa Claus. It was pretty cute. I might go through them someday and make a video about them maybe. What's the first story you ever wrote? So other than the booklets I mentioned, I first tried to write a novel when I was like 9, and it was about a boy who wakes up in a world of chocolate, but like made of chocolate, and it was basically just an excuse to make a bunch of puns, which is really bizarre, but I just really like puns. Like the main character's name was Chuck Let, and then there was Ella Fonte, and then there was like Harry Bull, who of course was like a bully or something, and it was just so nonsensical. And I looked it up because I remember being inspired by some books to make that, and I didn't remember which they were, but I googled it and I'm pretty sure they were Chocolate Fever by Robert Kimmel Smith and The Chocolate Touch by Patrick Skeen Catling, which seems really sweet that a kid would read these old chapter books and be so inspired by them. Get it? Sweet. What's your biggest writing struggle? Definitely both hedging and over-explaining, which is a little ironic, and by hedging I mean overusing words like almost and slightly and maybe instead of just saying the thing. Like this is something that really embarrassed me when I notice it. I just need to like kind of like have more confidence and decide what I want to say. And by over-explaining, it's just like I need to trust my audience more, because I sort of tend to spell everything out. Like that's a really embarrassing trait too. I'm prone to using a lot of dialogue that tells instead of shows. I've improved a lot though, and I like to think by like the time my books are ready to submit, that's not a problem anymore. What's your best writing skill? It's sad that this is harder to answer than the last one. I because it kind of says a lot about my self-esteem. I'd say I'm a pretty good plotter and outliner, at least in the sense that I can figure out the beginning, middle, and end of a story pretty well, and then develop it further as I write it. And this is sort of recent development because I was not able to do that before. I was usually get stuck, like I'd have a beginning and or an end and get stuck in the middle, or I just have a concept but I don't really know how to develop it. So I'm really glad I improved in that regard. Do you type, write by hand, use a blend, and where do you write in general? I mainly type. I can't really do the like hand thing for fiction, maybe for like journals and stuff, definitely not for like writing a whole story. And this horrifies people, but I am relatively young and my body's not totally broken yet, so I don't tend to write at a desk. I write on my back, on the couch. I'm on the couch right now, on my bed, leaning against a pillow or something, just with like the laptop on top of me. At most, I will actually like sit up on a couch or a bed, but that's basically it. Like, that's how I write, and I realize it's horrifying to some people, especially if they're older, they have like chronic pain or anything. But I'm glad I'm comfortable doing it. Like, it is generally a lot more comfortable to me than like writing at a desk. What's your publishing path? I have always wanted to be traditionally published. I'm currently agented by a mid-sized but well-known agency after a short quarantine period, and I've been on submission for several months for the first time. And I really hope I can get a book deal at some point, and hopefully a lot more. I also technically self-published a webcomic. It's 50 episodes. It's complete if you want to read it, and it's on Webtoon. I'll leave a link in the description. It's like lighthearted dark humor, which I know contradicts itself, but it's really the best way I know how to describe it. And when I was 17, I self-published a couple of short stories on Amazon. We don't talk about that era, at least not yet. And I'm really not interested in self-publishing anymore unless it's like a small project like a short story or like a zine or a booklet or another webcomic I want to post online. AuthorTube questions. How did you find out about AuthorTube? I started watching AuthorTube as a young teenager. I'm 26 now. I've always wanted to join, but I never did until recently. I don't remember exactly how I found it, but I've always wanted to be an author, and I used to watch a lot of YouTube as a teenager, so it was like bound to happen. And I think the first AuthorTube I watched was Shaylin Wrights, so thank you to them for being one of the first to inspire me. What's your goal for starting an AuthorTube channel? Have fun, honestly. Just build a community, make friends, and build a habit of this hobby that I'm really enjoying of video editing. I'm not starting out hoping to grow big and get a bunch of followers and get like monetized or whatever. Like awesome if that happens, but it's not really my goal. I'm just here to have a good time and document my process. What content do you bring to the AuthorTube table? What videos can we expect to find on your channel? I do hate the word content because it feels sort of soulless to me personally. It implies I'm making these videos as a career move, which I'm not really, but although I totally respect if you are. That being said, I'm hoping to post vlogs, about my writing projects, talk about random things about writing and publishing, update you on my publishing journey, maybe advice, maybe stories of my writing experience, maybe talk about what I'm reading as well. And aside from like AuthorTube style videos, which will be my main thing, because I'm a graphic novelist and cartoonist, I probably want to make some about like drawing and creating not just novels, but like comics and zines. And I found that I really enjoy editing random lifestyle clips into my vlog, so especially if I do something fun or I go on a trip or something, so I'm probably going to do more of that. I know some people aren't as into like b-roll lifestyle stuff when they look for AuthorTube content, but I'm going to make and upload whatever I want because yeah, it's whatever I enjoy doing. And even if every once in a while I do post something that has like totally out of left field and has nothing to do with any of the rest, I do think I'm mostly going to focus on like AuthorTube genre. What are you most looking forward to now that you're a part of AuthorTube? Making friends, making community, that's definitely what I'm most excited for, especially with other small tubers too. Small YouTubers. If you're interested in that too, please leave a comment. I do love supporting others. I'm mainly interested in watching like writing vlogs and studio vlogs and videos about publishing and making art. What's my best AuthorTube tip? You do not need to buy a bunch of fancy materials or software to get started. Like I used to think that way, and now when I finally started doing it, I've just been using my phone that I've had for almost like 2.5 years. It's the Pixel 7. That's what I've been using. I've been using the mic on there. On one of my videos, on the first one, you can see like I'm holding a different mic, but I'm still using my phone audio because like it was an old mic and it didn't even work. And it's been perfectly fine. Like if you watch my other videos, I think the quality is fine. I've also used a little plastic phone holder thing, like a really cheap basic one that I got for free as a tripod, and mostly I put it here. I put it like against furniture, against the wall, against random objects that I stack instead of using a tripod. Now I am using a tripod because I found one for like €5. It's cheap, it's affordable, and I'm enjoying using it. So yeah, I don't think you need a lot of equipment to start. I think it's a very common misconception. And I use a free software that I'm really enjoying called Shortcut. It's just perfect, honestly. It has exactly what I need. It's not too complicated, but it's not too basic. It's free and easy to use, so I definitely recommend it. If you're new to AuthorTube, what is your biggest AuthorTube question? Other than how I can make more friends and community, which is honestly my main question. I also wonder, what do you guys usually like to watch? Which AuthorTubes do you recommend? And like, what's your favorite type of videos to watch? I know, because I'm really curious, because everyone's preferences are different. About me? Here's some questions about me. Do you have a day job? I'm gonna get vulnerable here and say that I am not employed right now. I'm pursuing a visa that does not allow me to work. I'm not allowed to work on it, which is, I don't love that, but it's basically the only path I have available to me right now for immigration purposes. I mean, and I'm super fortunate to have a partner that can support me financially, and I don't have to worry about making ends meet. Even though I do have a lot of anxiety and embarrassment and shame that I shouldn't have, because it's fine, but it's about not being able to maintain myself, so it is a goal of mine. While I'm in this stage of life, I'm trying to pursue other income streams, like doing drawing commissions and maybe selling my own products, and maybe just writing a lot and hoping that I can write something that sells and that gets me a decent advance. And if that does not work out by the time I'm allowed to work, I will of course get a day job. Are you a reader? Absolutely. I'm not sure how someone can be a good writer without being a reader. However, I don't read as much as I'd like to, and I would like to change that. I mentioned in my last video that I'm doing 75 hard, so one of my goals is to read 50 pages a day. Hopefully that will help. I enjoy a lot of different genres like romance, fantasy, horror, and I read across multiple age categories, and I do prefer fiction, but I occasionally read nonfiction as well, and I read both graphic novels and prose. What are your other hobbies, and what are you passionate about? Other than writing and reading and drawing, I really love board games. It's like my ideal way to spend time with friends. I also do text roleplay, which is a fun way to hone your writing skills collaboratively if you haven't tried. Other types of art I've made are squishies. Making squishies and working with clay. I'm gonna leave some clips of me doing that here, or some of the things I've made. I actually have a course on my website that I'll link below if you're interested to know how I make them. And other than comics, one thing I'm really passionate about, and I've been passionate about for a long time, is sign language. I know a decent amount of American Sign Language, and it's just always fascinated me. I think it's beautiful, especially as someone who used to suffer from selective mutism and still suffers from a lot of anxiety and sometimes goes like nonverbal in a neurodivergent way. So it's just something I love for a very long time. Tea or coffee? I don't drink coffee. When I drink tea, it's like black tea with a lot of milk and sweetener, or it's boba tea. I love boba tea, but the real answer is chalky milk. I love chocolate milk. That's my fun drink of choice, not tea or coffee. What was your dream job when you were younger? So my very first dream job was to be an author and illustrator of my own books, which would make it extra awesome if I managed to succeed in this industry. Throughout the years, I also had phases like where I decided I really wanted to do something else, including be a sign language interpreter, be an English as a second language teacher, and a physicist for some reason briefly, which was very random, but I've always had writing and illustrating as a goal throughout my life, as long as I can remember. If you could live anywhere else in the world, where would it be? So this is one of the things I've been talking about in my first few videos, is that I'm in the middle of an immigration process. I'm originally from Venezuela, and I recently lived in New York for 2 years, and I self-deported from there. Me and my family did earlier this year, which, you know, sorry to get dark and depressing, but it's been hard. You know, I'm in a really privileged situation, so it's not anything dangerous or anything, but I am warning it because I love that city so much, and it felt like my home, and it felt like I was kicked out of it. Again, sorry to get dark and depressing, but yeah, I'm trying to officially move to Barcelona, Spain right now, so I'm in the middle of that journey. I have a visa appointment coming up, and honestly, I guess, so if my answer can't be my beloved New York, it would be Spain, it would be Barcelona, because so far I've really enjoyed it in Spain. And honestly, not to sound cheesy, but as long as I like stay with my life partners, chosen family, that's home to me. I also don't know how much I want to discuss my living situation, my sort of polyamorous, queer platonic, chosen family, life partners mouthful of a core relationship thing I have going on. But feel free to ask about it if you're watching this and if you're curious. Do you speak any foreign languages? I speak Spanish and English. I know like an advanced speaker amount of ASL. I would like to learn other sign languages in the future maybe. Right now I want to focus on learning Hebrew and Catalan. That being because of the Jewish people in my life and for the fact that I will be living in Catalonia. And finally, what music would we find in your collection? Orla Gartland, first and foremost. She's an indie Irish musician. She's my favorite musician of all time. Anyone who knows anything about me knows that I am obsessed with her. Please check out her stuff if you haven't yet. Other than that, I like a lot of indie pop artists mostly. I also like Lorde, Conan Gray, and Chappell Roan. And that's it. Thanks for watching. It'd be nice if you could leave a like if you enjoyed this, and leave a comment if you want to connect with me. I'm on Instagram and Blue Sky as Alimasa, and yeah, like I said, I'm super excited to make AuthorTube connections and friends and community, so